We are on our way to Scioto. For many of you that are tuning in to the Meadows, you just noticed that I was not there for Flash Fly. It really just came down to math. I had two people tell me that there was massive congestion on the highways, which I didn't see it on Waze, but even if I had stayed for Flash Fly, it put me there 30 minutes before the race. So it doesn't take a lot of congestion for you to say, I just missed Venice Blue Chip's race. Venice Blue Chip is an easy enough filly to drive, and Flash Fly isn't. But I warmed Flash Fly up, and I decided that, you know what, she warmed up really well. I talked to Hunter about her. I tried not to be too specific. I talked to Hunter about her a couple of times before I left, and man, I just watched her race. She raced huge. Left, we were all on pins and needles watching her go into the first turn, and then exited the 2-hole, just green. That's all, just very green. Today, you know, it looked like it rained a little bit after I left because they downgraded the track to good, and then it looked like she was just going to drive away and just kind of hung out, get out of gear, but didn't look like she was going to make a break. And you know, a decent day. We'll start from the top. My own day, I guess a lot of the reason that I did book off the last race is because I almost missed the first one. We were coming from Northfield. I thought I had enough time to get there to warm up, but there was a ton of traffic, and then when we got to the tolls on the freeway there at Ohio-Pennsylvania junction, it was just massive traffic. There was, Addie, can you turn that?
I was just
No,
gonna say,
Addie can't turn that down because Addie has fallen asleep and is snoring. Oh, what a day. So, I listen, I appreciate the judges and Tim for I literally got to the race 9 minutes before we were supposed to go on the track with Flash Fly, or with Pull the Shoes. I thought I was going to miss the race, which was really bad because of all the fillies today. The one that was the trickiest, aside from Flash Fly, it could be a little tricky, was Pull the Shoes. And it was really starting to weigh on me that I might almost miss this race. And I can only imagine compound that feeling by 150,000. And that's how I would have felt as I drove to Scioto. So I opted to book off Flash Fly. Man, am I ever happy. If she had made a break, I would have felt terrible the whole way here. But Hunter drove her well. She raced well. I thought everybody raced well today. The only one, you know, again, putting on my hindsight glasses, the only one that obviously I was disappointed in overall was Affection, not in herself. She got parked to the quarter in 28. That will happen. A little disappointed that maybe I didn't drag her off the gate, race her from off the pace, but I thought she would trot 56, 57 today, which, looking at the program, that's the one thing you got to remember about today's races. We'll talk about that in a second. Looking at the program, it looked like that was enough to probably win the race, right? The fastest division up until that point was 157, and I thought she could handle 157. No problem. I finished second to the filly that was the favorite of Brian Zentz, and although I love Brian Zentz' filly, I thought that if our filly wasn't a little sick last week, I'd probably run him down. That was my feeling. I could have been dead wrong. And clearly I was, because his filly raced amazing today. But when it comes to these races, you know, you look at a couple of horses show 2-2, 2-3, go trotting 58. It's hard to gauge looking at qualifiers how good these horses are. It's not like everybody walks around with a shirt on that says, I think my horse can trot in X. So when we went on the track with Pull the Shoes, 5-horse field, expectations are tempered, hopes are high. But I just wanted to be very careful. Somebody said, oh, if you hadn't missed the gate, you probably win. I didn't miss the gate. I mean, all I did, I missed it on purpose. Flash Fly's biggest thing, and all these green shoes for that matter, their biggest thing is managing their stress level, because they get hyper. When they get hyper, they make mistakes. Trotters in general do that. But most definitely these fillies, these green shoe fillies. So I felt, again, looking at the program, I see 2-1, 2-2, 2-1, 2-2. I know she can trot 58. I think she can. Trotted 59 today, last half of 57. I know that. Huge mile for her. I think also I cleared the lead. Aaron kicked the earplugs out. I figured he was just going to go away. I was just going to coast to victory lane. And instead he caught back up in the last turn. Now I wasn't on her in the last turn. Did she go to sleep? 2 of these fillies today, 3 of them, Flash Fly, Royal Emeralds, and pull the shoes, all had earplugs on, or earplugs and a hood on, just to keep them quiet. Normally you'd have the pull out, you'd pop them and away they go, but on the front end of that, they get a little hot when they're on too. There's not as much, there's more noise, right, when you don't have the hood on. Anyway, I thought keep getting mixed up. I did, but I thought that Pull the Shoes raced amazing. Raced very, very good. Very proud of her. Very happy with what I saw. But minor shoeing adjustments we made after the training mile on Tuesday most definitely helped her, because she was that much better today. Really impressed with her. Then we went out with the 2 sire stake fillies. Royal Emeralds let go a little bit like she did the other day. Now we had her on antibiotics. We scoped her. We did her blood. It came back good. But that was eerily similar mile. Now, before you start getting bogged down with the maybe she was sick again, a lot of this sickness is mucus, and a lot of that mucus can be caused by a lot of stuff. And I do believe that this filly's we're going to have to really manage to mitigate her allergy issues. This is about 3 or 4 times now we've scoped her. There's been a lot of mucus in there. I just think she's a filly with a lot of allergies. We need to be really, really aggressive with her. Maybe drop her back down into the stallion level for a little while. I think she is a sire stake filly, but she did not race like one today. And I think that's easily fixed. Race her a little I didn't race her hard, but race her easier in a softer company and really work hard at those allergies. Tim knows that, and he's going to work with that over the next little while. So although it was a disappointing mile, she got a little drink, a little bone, and obviously more things for us to work on moving forward with her. Affection, we're going to scope her also, so I don't have the scope results for the 2 fillies yet. I will have them, and if there's anything of note to talk about, then I'll most definitely bring that to you. But for now, Affection, I think, just got roughed up a little getting to the quarter. I didn't want to drop her into the 5-hole. Again, going into the race, I'm thinking, if I have to, she'll trot 56, 57. I'm as good as Brian Zent's filly. I want to follow her, right? Aki's filly looked good on paper, but did not look like that was coming on paper, or I would have just ducked in behind her. So a tough race for her. She trotted 58-1. We'll scope her and get to the bottom if there's maybe some allergies going on with her. If so, then again, the same type of protocol, same type of treatment will be used for both of those fillies. Now, what that is will be left up to Tim and his veterinarian, but we'll see how, as I said, see how they both scope first, and then go from there. And then Flash Fly, very anxious as we're driving down the road. We're watching him go out of there with her. I'm like, oh dear, oh no. And she just looked perfect. A little green as she popped out of the 2-hole. Should she have finished off her dinner? Yeah, but it was downgraded to a good track, so obviously a lot of rain had fallen just after I left. And there's a lot of rain going to be falling tonight in Scioto also, according to the maps. So, or according to the weather app. So a good day, not the day we were hoping for. You know, if Flash Fly had a 1 and I said, we were first 2 seconds in the Stallion Series, get roughed up in the Sire Stakes, we'll get them next time, that would have been okay. 3 seconds in the Stallion Series is okay. And all 3 of those fillies room for, well, I jumped over Digit. Didn't even talk about Digit. Digit got away second. There was a little confusion leaving the gate. That's the one thing about having the hobbles and having our horses kind of screwed down tight. They're less apt to make those mistakes, right? You even saw Royal Emeralds throw herself behind the gate but come right up trotting and then got into her work. Digit went out of there. 2 inside of her made a break. I get down to the rail. The rail horse was coming up, and I tapped the brakes to let Aki go. And Mike had kind of got up tight to me and made a break, and he was really mad after the race about it. And he said, you know, these are 2-year-old trotters, and he slammed right on the brakes going into the first turn. I said, yeah, I want to get Aki over in front of me. And he goes, why? You didn't see the other races? That's pretty good. I'll tell you, I don't want to be on the front, and I want to follow the one that's going to be the one to beat. That's pretty much it. Sorry that your horse made a break. I mean, it was Thomas's horse. I didn't feel bad, but it's racing. What do you want me to do? So in the last turn, that inquiry could have went either way. You know, the gentleman was very nice. He was angry, a little angry. No, I don't know if angry is the word. A little perturbed pulling off. A little frustrated. There, that's a good one. Pulling up. He said, I was kind of tight. And that's like a nice guy's way of saying you're a dick.
I felt that feeling before training against
will you stop with I felt that feeling before training? So he said, kind of tight. Like I said, that's a nice guy's way of saying you're a dick. And I don't know the gentleman, but he seemed like I talked to him for a minute after the race. Nice man. I said, hey, I know I was tight. I was tight to Aki's wheel getting out, but Aki was done, and there seemed to be a little room there, and I was going to take it out. I said, your filly race good. Really nice filly. I said, who's she by? He said, oh, International Money. Then we talked. Kind of calmed him down before we get into the paddock. I said, we have a bunch of International Monies, and I like them all. I mean, they're trotters. They're workers. And he goes, yeah, I had one last year that wasn't that good. We trot all day, did her work all day, and this filly here, she's a worker too. I said, well, like I said, sorry, it is what it is, and that was that. And then they called us to the phone. Inquiries on. I'm thinking I'm getting tossed for sure. And if they had them. My take on it is simple. What I just told Amy, I would rather be second place third than finish fourth, because there's a good chance I was going to be fourth if I didn't come out. A fair chance. Anyway, I told him exactly how I saw it. There was room. The gentleman was giving himself lots of room, as one does, or most do, in the 2-year-old races. And I took advantage of it, but I was coming out. I was planning to come out, but I just didn't want to rip my filly out of the 3-hole and put her on the run. I was just taking my time, and he coasted up in the 2.5, which ended up being 3 wide lane, and that was that. And that's how they saw it too. So, Wayne Long, I think his name was. Very nice man. I don't know where he's from. Anyway, the horses raced good, as I said. I wasn't disappointed with the Sire Stake fillies. Clearly, Royal Emerald, something's going on, because she usually finishes hard. Now, the other day she scoped sick. But keep in mind, before you say, well, and a great question asked the other day by Jeff, who owns the majority of her with his partners, was, or all of her, I think, with his partners, was, is it too close to come back after scoping sick? My answer was no, because there wasn't any yellow mucus there when we drew her blood. Her white count was not super elevated. It might have been a little bit, but not really elevated. So to me, that screams allergies. So we've treated her aggressively, but maybe not as aggressively, or maybe not in the way it needs to be done. Maybe that way didn't work. We need to switch up how we treat her. But I believe Royal Emeralds is going to have a good summer. Now, next time we'll put her in the Stallion Series, try and get some confidence on her. I do believe you'll see her rejoin the Sire Stake Company at some point. But for now, all the fillies that race today, for various reasons, should maybe stick to the Stallion Series. If they're going to let us know, if there was only 4, if we had to go next week and we have those 5 fillies in insider trading, Mr. McDonald, there's 4 Stallion Series. Who do you want to put in the Sire Stakes? I would say Pull the Shoes was impressive enough to maybe win there today. I don't know about Flash Fly, because she's still a little fragile also. Maybe insider trading, but I would like to see the other fillies drop down into the Stallion Series. There's nothing wrong with it. For any of you that are walking around, tripping over your lip because the horses didn't win today, keep in mind, our horses did well today, but we can never, ever, ever tell how other people's are. And Aki's horses came to play today. They look very good. A couple of very nice fillies there, big, strong buggers.
They said that one was 500 and something thousand.
Oh, was it really?
The one that won in 55.
No, I think the one that won in 55 was 60,000.
Okay, that one.
The other one that was in the other race with Royal Emeralds, they won 57 maybe?
Yeah.
It could be. I think you're right, because I saw the breeding on the horse, and I remember the mare. Remember we talked about this on the way down. Anyway, a decent day. On our way now to Scioto, and I hope we have a decent night also. It's always nice to go to the track and be 8-5 and win the races. But you know what? It's always nice to have nice horses too, and I'm not disappointed with any of the horses we raced today. I thought it was a pretty decent day across the board. For the ones that faltered a bit, Affection, I get up to the quarter a little quick with her. She gets stretched out a little bit, and that fast mile, that'll break anybody's heart. That'll put you through the ringer in a mile. So cut her some slack. We'll get her scoped. We'll find a softer spot for her. Mechanically, she was fantastic. And Royal Emeralds clearly faltered. There's something going on there. A little issue with her airway again. So we'll continue to work away at that. The other horses did as good as they could. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Obviously, hopefully an optimistic report overall tonight after tonight's races. But I'm on my way to Scioto right now for our four next generation races. So with that, I'll let you go. Hope you guys had a good day. I will talk to you all very soon.